In the last episode, I began the task of extending the railway south by building a new passenger station at Paignton. This time out I'm adding a massive goods yard right next door, perfect for the heavy hauling freight trains now running on the network. We also get all the approach lines connected up in a way that still seems too easy even now. I guess I'm just getting better at track building. Hey everyone, it's M4J here, and welcome back to From Steam to Electricity here on Transport Fever 2. Let me just adjust my microphone, there we go. You'd think I'd be used to that by now, but no. Last time out, we built this, which is the huge Paignton station. Now, it might look a little bit different from when you last saw it in the last episode, because I've come through and added some changes. I've added these rusty rails to the majority of these platform ends. As you can see, they're here as well, just to add a little bit of history and a little bit of flavour to the station. You can imagine tracks used to come further down here, and platforms have been infilled and all sorts over the years to get it to the configuration that it's at today. I have also over here changed the layout of the junctions here again a little bit. Now, I think this was already in situ. I have connected up the track on this side, although why, I don't really know. I think just for completion's sake, although this might get removed at some point. We will see about that. What else did I do? There's more rusty tracks over here. I've signalled everything. I've put the gantries in. I added this road here just to split the passenger station from the goods yard. The goods yard will be coming shortly. This road will sort of wind its way around somewhere and do something and something. Yeah, the fact this rail here needs to come up and around like this now to get down to Sheep's Head. I'm still guessing that's how it's pronounced. I could still very much be wrong. There is also, excuse me, choked on air then. There is also the possibility that it could branch off this way and actually connect up to Gateshead again. Instead of the main line going this way, there could be a little branch. But I think that's perhaps asking a little too much of everything. I like the idea of coming around this way, maybe a little station here for Loddon, and then continuing down this way alongside the road to Sheep's Head, and then cutting through this way perhaps to Middlewich, and then beyond. And then, because I think I keep saying and then, very annoying. The main line from Holtwhistle, excuse me, from Holtwhistle will come down this way past Knutsford, past Hale and Wisbeach, and will probably, yeah, somewhere from Wisbeach it might even come this way. So that might be another connector between Loddon, Sheep's Head, Middlewich, and then you can get a train from Middlewich straight to Paignton without having to go up and around and down and stuff. Lots of cross-country options. Anyway, freight. That's what I want to work on now. I've got the game unpaused. This could be a catastrophic error, but I just wanted to see if we are still, getting money in, or if it's going to be a horrendous time. What do I want for this? I think what I want, probably just the 75-mile-an-hour bullhead. How many tracks do we want as well? That's track gaps, you numpty. I think an odd number would work best. Even if I did something like this. So I think, yeah, that sits like that. Yeah, it doesn't quite go how I want it. Although, if I was to do that... Oh, look how close that is, man. No, it's not that. That is so agonizingly close to what I want. What if I did this? Yeah, it still doesn't quite line up. But then, if I did something like that. Nope. That. Look how close that is to actually lining up. Wait, maybe I can fix it that way. Aha! Aha! Yes. Right. So now I've got to get the length. Where's length? There's the length. I think 320 is a good size for this. Oh, there. Yeah. I feel like there's room for more tracks, but to be honest, am I ever going to need more than 15? And I think the answer to that is a resounding no. So I just got to make sure now that this is like that. We'll add a huge capacity increase to this because actually we'll go with 10. I think 20 is a bit too much. Like so. Yeah, that does mess things up a little bit. Alright. Come on. There. Place. Excellent. Yeah, I like it. So I can still put some buildings and stuff in. Paignton Cargo is probably a good name for it, but I'm going to rename it Goods Yard. And this is mainly going to be an interchange. There are some industries around here. I'll just pause the game a second. You know, there's a tool factory here. There's a sawmill there. There is stuff coming into here. But I think mainly this is going to be an interchange station with stuff coming in and out from other lines. So the main line up here, train will come in, unload, reload, head off, and then it'll interchange with a train that's come in off this branch here. Because if you look, there's actually some waste facilities around here where we could start exploring that. So bringing waste from other cities down to these places, turning it into steel, and then taking it back to where it needs to go, which mainly would be up Uckfield way, I would say, and Toaster. And Rugeley, I suppose. That's got some stuff waiting, which is good. That's encouraging to see. So yeah, now we've got this connected. We kind of need to do over here what we've done with the passenger one, which is going to be easier said than done. And I might go with a similar idea to what I've done at Toaster, which is have the inner track be the one that goes this way, and then have the outer track be the one that comes up and over and round. And I think what I want to do is have it loop around and then run parallel to this line here, and then obviously have the southbound one connect up, and then the northbound one up and over. So it's actually going to run almost perfectly parallel to this, except where this one curves to the right, this one's going to curve from the left. I like that. I like that a lot, but we need to actually get the tracks in. I'm just going to reset this because I feel like it's going to cause problems. There you go. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's have that at 40, just as a default. Yeah, there we go. Okie dokie. Let's get this going. So I think what's going to be the case is these 6 lines here are going to be solely for mainline trains. Actually, maybe these 9 are going to be solely for mainline trains. These 3 here are going to be solely for branch trains, and then these 3 are going to be a bit of both. Or maybe these 6 will be a bit of both. These 6 are for the main line, these 3 are for the branch line only. Maybe that'll work better. I guess there's only one way to find out. I think then this one is going to be curving out this way. We'll keep it flat. I think 60-ish miles an hour is a good target. I would say so. Yeah, this is always the tricky bit, is getting these in. What I want, especially here, is that to curve. Yeah, see already that's not great. So what I actually want is this one to curve round. 60 is fine. 60 is fine for the main lines. We can go a bit more creative with the other ones. And it was this one, wasn't it? See already, look, that's 40. 44. It's not really got the swerve that I want on it. Maybe that's not the end of the world. Just because trains can go 75 miles an hour in the station itself doesn't mean they have to. In that case, what I'm going to do is this one here, I'm going to draw around like so. And we're going to get it to come around to there. This one is then going to be the parallel. Like that. And then we can hook that like that. That then creates the swing that we need to get around and up and over that. This line here, and then maybe one of these ones. Probably the middle one, I would say. And then the middle one here as well. So this is going to come around like this. I mean, 45 was fine. There. And then the middle one here. Like that. Although we can bring it back in a bit quicker. There. And then, yeah, this is going to be this one. This is just going to be a flat grade crossing. Might even connect up with where this one branches off, to be honest. Just so it's an all-in-one thing. So this is going to run across to here. This is going to run across to here. It does mean the carriage sidings can't grow from there, but that's fine. Okie dokie. So then these two, let's just hypothetically say I want to connect that one up all the way over to there. That does technically work. And that should be a double slip as well. Yeah. Although I've made that fundamental mistake again. And I do this every time. I've left no room for signals. I've also got mega hay fever today. So if I sound like I'm drowning, I probably am. So apologies for that. Yeah, you're going to come out. I think you're straight. It's hard to tell. There we go. Like that. Like that. I could probably do a parallel track thing, but I don't really know how it works with 3 tracks and I don't want to mess this up, so let's just do it like this. The other end's going to be a lot easier to do. It's just going to be condensing it all down into 2 tracks basically, which from 15 that's going to be quite tricky to accomplish, but I'll give it a go. There we are. And then the other stations on this line are going to be fairly straightforward because they're going to be 1 platform, maybe 2 in each direction, and a smallish goods yard. Right. How did I do this again? How did I do this? I already think actually that this should just come around almost like this, and then the carriage sidings can grow in the future if we do need them to. Kind of annoying that that's not snapping. Although I could almost, from here, just bring you round. No? Slightly frustrating. What if I did that? Ah, I see. You're just following the land. Yeah, no, you need to come down. Yeah, basically like this. Maybe not quite as steep as this. I could probably get away with something a bit more like that. And in terms of junctions and stuff, yeah, I think that is fine. We'll start at this end again. We might as well, right? Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe here then we run just parallel and then snip in How close can I get there? And then what does that look like? 40 miles an hour, but I'm okay with that. It looks a bit odd, but I think, yeah, that's all good. And then here you run parallel for a bit. Whoops. Maybe to like there. And then here, yeah, you can swoop across. Excellent. That's starting to look okay. Then this side, I think we will go with the 9 option. So this one here is going to come out like this. I'm just going to turn that off now. I have got plans for what can go in the middle here as well, but we're not going to build that for some time, I don't think. So let's do this. And then this one will form the other side, I want to say. Or was it that one? Like so. I think that's fine. To be honest, these can be separate lines completely because of the way it's all going to connect over here. So I'm almost tempted to say that this is good. And then you can come in like that. This one I'm going to run along a little bit. In fact, this one I'm going to run along like that and connect it in over here. Wherever it will let me. There. And then what I'm actually going to do is this. And then this one. If I could get it over a little bit further. Hang on. I was going to say that has to be possible, right? You're going to go there. And then this side, I think. Yeah. Like that. Which looks really stupid. But rest assured, it is really stupid. This can then come across like this. And like that. And I'd say that's then done. In terms of double slips and stuff, that's obviously going to be one. That's obviously going to be one. The other two, though, I don't think will be. I think this doesn't actually need to be this extravagant. Looking at it. I don't think it needs to be at all. In fact, I'm tempted to say... No, I will leave that like that. That one, I don't think needs to be a double slip. Let me see. Actually, what I could do, if I was to remove this completely. Say you're on this track here and you want to get out from this track here. That can be achieved with the double slip there, can't it? You're on this track here. You get into it by crossing over like that. That does create a little bit of a conflict, mind. So what I might do then is make these double slips as well. So then you come in here, and then here you cross over. Let's say, yeah, you're on this track here. You can just cross all the way over like that. I think that is actually everything connected, how it should be. And then for these two lines... Maybe I should build these out first, and then we can look at how this will all work. So I think something like this. Bring it around. Is that going to be tall enough? Absolutely nowhere near. This might be a problem. I suppose the alternative is we go under. But then that's a big cutting on that side. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. So what I need here is these two tracks here to be flatter. Simple as that. So say I do this. Build these flat. Not downhill, just flat. And then we can keep it going flat for a little bit more. And then around here somewhere they'll start to climb again. Now these two Again, 65 is kind of a good speed limit for this, I would say. Just climb. Just keep climbing. Are you tall enough now? I don't think you are you? Oh, you're getting close though. There. That's where it is. That's where we need to get to. So maybe if I was to... How'd you do this? What button did I just press? Oh, that one. Yeah, build it up and across. See, that's really tall now, isn't it? Yeah. Bring it down one. I want to go from there to there. How does that look? Oh, you can be flat as well. That's the other key thing. I think that is maybe a little bit lower. Was it shift and comma? Yeah. Like this. I think that. Okay. So now I've got to get that to connect to that, which, yeah, easier said than done. So first of all, probably around like this. And then from there, I just said too much slope, didn't it? Yes, it did. It's amazing, actually, how much it needs. Because I would have loved to have built it over here. But, yeah, we need a lot more than that. I think 50 might have to be the speed limit here, you know? Even that's saying too much. Wow. Damn autosave. I had an autosave just now. I was filming the intro to the last episode and I had an autosave right at the worst moment, so I had to go and do it again. The flyover bit. Really annoying. I mean, autosave isn't annoying. Autosave is the thing that saves us all. But when it kicks in at the worst possible moments, that's always a frustration. Maybe 40? And yeah, we just go solid downhill. Still too much slope. Huh. Alright, we'll do that. And then we'll bring it in like this. Now I think it's starting to work. Yeah, it's quite a climb. Alright. So what this is doing here is completely messing up my plans. What I wanted was a goods yard. Not a goods yard, we're building a goods yard. What I wanted was a storage track yard for unused wagons, basically. This is kind of annoying, but I can't do that. And I'm assuming, yeah, now I can just connect these in. So let's build it to there. No. Let's build it to there. Turn off parallels for a second. Because you are now working, which is good. Here, we're going to bring this down to about here. And then from here, you're going to come across to there. Like so. Now what we're going to do is... Do I build the tracks in now? I didn't want to, that's the problem. I still don't want to. Don't make me do it. I think I'm going to have to though. So this one's going to have to come in and around. In fact, we could do it, excuse me, parallel for a minute. And then here you can duck in. There. And then here. There. This one here, I suppose, can then do that. And then we can do something similar on this side. So you're going to connect in there. this is also going to form the basis of that one, except you're going to come out like that and then in like that. This one is then going to do this. Cool. You are then going to come out this way. 35 is fine. Please tell me I've still got the... Yeah. Whew. Almighty swearing if I'd forgotten to put that back in, if I had deleted it. There we go. We could just leave it like this, you know. And have it a bit like Cockerhead's freight terminal, where it's through lines. But I think we may have some things terminate here, which we can still achieve. If I was to build that in like that, and I feel like I could do the same thing over here. They're terminating lines. Possibly. Possibly. I'm actually very tempted to just leave it like that. The only spanner in the works on that one will be what happens when we then add these storage tracks in. But to be honest, I think we can just branch off here or something. Yeah, I think that's fine. And then over here, of course, we still need to connect this up. So again, 40 miles an hour, relatively flat. Yeah, now we have a slight problem. Can we get it parallel with this? Yes. So I like the idea of this. And then here, this one will go straight over the top. And it's actually already on the right alignment, I would say. So that's cool. Does it have to be straight? Can I put a bit of a curve in it? I think I could put a bit of a curve in it. As long as it only goes slightly downhill at this point. And then here, it can go straight. No. Ooh. That might be a problem as well. Let's do this then. Straight. Flat. When I say straight, sorry, I mean flat. Words mark. Now I'm going to assume... Yeah, that fits. And then here... It'll be do whatever you need to do. This side, we're just going to bring it down. Yeah. If I can get it to there. Yeah. That's ready to connect up. Cool. Well, that worked better than I thought. Where is the next destination? Kirby Moorside. So we've got a bit of room to get that in. This track here we'll sort out in a second. To be honest, we're not running trains east or south from here yet. So that's a future problem for future me to future solve. The big problem right now is this passenger line here still needs to connect up and over. And I think part of the problem is, what height are you? I think you're actually the right height to get over this if we do this. Yeah, you're more than the right height. You can even start bringing it down again. So let me just redo this. I think what I want to do here first actually is build the bridge. Kind of do what I just did with the freight line. Build the bridge first and then put in the other infrastructure. So if I build you... you need to be going uphill still slightly. But to be honest, the track is going uphill here as well. So they will meet. And then we can do this. And then if I was to build this down and round... Yeah. See, now that actually works. Why would I want to change that? That's a very good question. The answer is, I don't. And then here, it's a bit of a trek still, but it's coming in. It's getting closer. And actually this line needs to go over a freight line still. I think I'm almost tempted to tunnel with the freight line underneath and then rise it up, but it's so difficult with the terrain, especially here as it's still technically going uphill. So you want to make sure that the track is going less uphill than the main line is going less uphill than the freight line, which isn't always the easiest thing to do. So it could be a very long chase here, trying to get it to the same level. I've also got to line this up for where Gateshead is going to go, which is somewhere around here. Like the tracks here are going to carry on this direction and then round the back of this construction materials plant, because Gateshead station is going to be east to west. And then from here the track curves around the back of that and then up to Blackburn, and at that point it kind of sorts itself out again. I'm almost tempted here though to say that the track goes that way, but I don't want it to run too close to the edge of the map. So it might have to be a bit windy here, just as we sort it out. There we go, and there we go. Now, before I do anything else, I've got to get 15 tracks here down to 2. Maybe 3 first and then 2. Maybe. It's just, there's so many. There are so many. In case you're wondering what this one-way signal for as well, that's for the siding there. It's just to stop trains from accidentally going into it. Nothing amiss there. So I think this is going to have to do something like this to start with, and then this one come out alongside it. So I think you're going to have to do this, and then from here, yeah, I'm going to try and make this side asymmetrical if I can. Maybe we'll do 4 tracks going into 2 later on. Problem is it's signalling. I don't want to put extra signals in. So for those of you that don't know, when you set up a station on a journey, so if I go line manager here and then, is that line manager? What's it called? Yeah, line manager, and set up a new line. If you set up a main terminal, so main platform, and then an alternate terminal, when it reaches the last signal before the station, that's when it decides where it needs to go. So that's why on these gantries I don't have signals on the center tracks, because I need the decision to be made back here as to what platform it's going into. So that's why some of these stations look a little bit weird and stuff. That's also why I don't do bidirectional tracks approaching a station, because I need the decision to be made at the last signal here. And I don't want it to get to this one and realise that it can't get to the platform it needs to go to. So yeah, getting 15 down to 2 is going to be very tricky. The other option I have is to say that some of these are just terminus tracks. But I don't really know what that achieves. The main thing is these ones here are the main tracks. So maybe these are the ones I need to be focusing on. So this one here, and again it's doing that annoying thing. There we go. No parallel tracks. Not yet. So we'll do something like that. We'll then have these 2 tracks basically do what we did before. So that in like that, and then this in, I can't see that one, I think it says 35. I need you to do that, and then here, yeah, you're more than enough. But now it just looks ugly and horrible and bleh. And I also haven't put the straight bits in for the signals. I also haven't put the signals in, which is very bad of me. I want to put the signals in first. Now, I know that these are technically one-way tracks, but I'm still going to put them in as if they are not. Again, I could actually use gantry signals here. I'm sure there's a very strong case for me to actually do that. Where the heck is this one? I guess it's here. There. These could become two-way. I could put a crossover in over here. There's no problem with that. I almost feel like these center tracks here should be terminus tracks though. As in bay platforms. But that just doesn't work over this side. Oh, it's so tricky. Just getting these set up sometimes is so damn tricky. Right, you out like this. Build. You out like that. Build. You out like that. Build. How are we doing for time? 35 minutes. That's not too bad. Yeah, I'm definitely building on the large scale again. I've kind of lost my... not my way. I was going to say I've lost my way a little bit. That's not fair. But in the past, in this series, I was kind of building on a smaller, more manageable scale. But having looked at the money in the bottom corner there, we're not exactly tight on budget for this. There is a part of me that's just like, go mad, go absolutely mental, build as crazy as you want. And then there's also a part of me that's like, that's dumb, don't do that. I want to try and keep this grounded still, because we're in 1892. Forgot to turn that back on at the start of last episode, but I have been building paused, so it's not the end of the world. We are in 1892 right now, so not everything was absolutely ginormous. We were certainly getting to the stage where things were starting to get bigger. Thinking at this point, every mainline terminus in London had been built at this stage, I believe. So, you know, we're getting it to the stage now where things are going to start looking extremely massive. But I still want to try and keep things grounded where I can. We're going to have very long trains running through here, though. There's 300-meter platforms. We're definitely going to see that. Yeah, well, how do I do this? I think what I actually need to do here, because we already basically know how the freight lines are going to connect up now, I think. Although saying that, this is going to need to be rebuilt, because we do need a track from here that's going to come down here, and that's going to be the arrival line, and then the departure line is going to come either over or under that. Yeah. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do here, just temporarily, is build something like this. You now know how high you need to be, or how far you need to go. I'm just going to be like this. That is quite a long bridge. But that's two. Yeah, so it's going to have to be like that. I really don't like the way these bridges end, where you can just see through them. It's very much an annoyance of mine as well. I have a lot of annoyances of mine, you may have noticed. So yeah, this line here is going to run parallel for quite some ways. But it is technically a freight only line until this one catches up to it. Yeah, over here. Maybe something like that. How does that look? Not terrible. It's this bit here that I'm worried about, and actually that doesn't look too bad. So we're going to say that, and then here this curves in as well. If I can get it to 45, I'll be happy. There we are. And that's technically all of that now connected in. So yeah, this is the arrival track, which makes life very interesting because in theory this needs to come all the way over to one of these tracks. Preferably that one. Huh. Unless we do wrong line running here for a bit. But yeah, that's not going to work, is it? Okay. In theory, is that enough space there to tunnel underneath? I feel like the answer is no. Oh. Oh, okay. What if I start climbing again? Okay, to there. That actually worked better than I thought. And then to here. Start climbing a little bit more. And then, yeah, here, just properly climb. Wow! That works so much better than I thought. What I'm going to do, though, still is run it parallel. Oh, okay. Well, that's gone a lot better than I thought, for sure. And then here. Yeah, 51. I'm fine with that. Alrighty. Cool. Fixed it. Nice. Right. Now that we've got this in, I can actually build this on a slightly different alignment, such that it reaches over here. I'm going to say this one. Cool. And then we can start putting in weird junctions and things to make all this work. The main thing is I need to get a line from at least over here to over here without it conflicting with anything. So that works. Like that. And I believe... yeah, I think that is cutting it fine. I think that's the closest we can get without it messing up. Either that or we rebuild this line slightly to curve down a bit more sharply. Could we get away with that? Or am I going to mess this up? Answers on a postcard, please. Or just remind yourself of previous episodes where I've managed to mess things up. That'll probably give you the answer you're looking for. Right. So that's saying too much slope. Lots of that is saying too much slope. I could do that. So let's say from here, we do this. And from here, we can bring this around to something like this. Now from here, we can come around to there. And then, yeah, I could put in another crossover here. We've kind of hit that dead point again where we can only really have one train arriving and one train leaving at the same time, but I think I'm okay with that in the grand scheme of things. I'm just so happy this tunnel worked. This is infrastructure I'm planning on keeping even when we advance to like the electrical age. So getting all this working now is definitely a priority. $37 is fine, I would say there. And then this one. Again, 37 is probably fine there. And then over there it can be branched over. This line here can connect up like that. We can then have a parallel track here connect to that one, where this comes across like so. This one can then dip in there. See, I almost feel like this needs to be something else. But it doesn't really work, so there's no point. So I'll just leave it as is. Although I do need somewhere, because the way this is connected up isn't quite correct. So you actually connect up to, let's say, this one. This one will then connect up. Yeah, so you're not going to let me do it now. But if I do it to here first, maybe it will. No. How do I get this to... I think the 3-junction thing doesn't quite work with when you want to run a parallel track. See, look, it will let me do that, but it won't let me bring it out this way. And I don't want it to do that. That's heartbreaking. Because I really want this. I mean, I can bring it out like there. And then from there it can come round. Problem with that is I can't get the exact crossover that I want anymore. It's not the end of the world though, is it? Okay. Oh yeah, these are yeah. Right, hang on. It's just shaping it now. Basically got it exactly how I want it. It's just shaping it. So I don't have to do mass deletion exactly for it to work. I can just come in and do something like this. So actually that going to where it was fine. Although I've built it slightly differently now. Let's do that. You then come in 35 was the target, which is that. You then come in 35 again is the target, which is that. And then from here, you can come across to over there. This one can then come across to over here, which I think it will let me do. It's just been difficult. Yeah, there. Speed isn't quite right there, though. It's 34, not 35. Now that's 35. Maybe if I did it to there. Here. That's annoying as well. Why won't it let me do that? Oh, you son of a gun. I've also got to sneeze. 1 sec. Whew. Excuse me. Right. Bring this back out. Let's do that. I can bring this one out. So let's say I just brought it out to there. Remove that. This will then come in like this. It's just, actually, no, I think all 3 tracks can get to where they want to be. If I turn that into a double slip, and instead of double slipping this one, if I just build this. If I do it there, then I might be able to do something. No. That's fine. So yeah, that works. This now all should work once I've double slipped it. So that one for a start. It's just this track here can't get over. But if I was to build something from here over, then that would do it. And then this one can dip in like that. This then becomes a double slip. And then these ones, I guess this one would just pop in like this with the other one next to it, right? And in theory, I could also build a crossover from here over to there. And I could do it that length if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I do want that side to be 35 though, which it now is. Excellent. Okay. And then finally, these two. So again, it would have been awesome if I could get that one in like that. But I could get this one in here. I think what I could do is that. What I could do is over here. Connect it in. He says, realizing that's not actually possible. What if I did it from there? I can get it to there. I can get it to there. Well, there you go. That's technically a double slip as well. And if I did this, you would come out this side. And this one would come out this side. Yeah, I don't think I am going to double slip that one though. Mainly because I don't think I need to. Okay. And then I'll put this signal back in. Like so. Now, in theory, this main line here is ready to go. We're ready to send trains, we're ready to receive trains. But obviously we need to connect up the rest of everything in order to make that happen. But Paignton Goods Yard is done in terms of functionality. It's even connected up, yeah, both ends here as well. Although this end obviously needs doing still, but that's fine. It is going to be funny watching them have to come all the way up this way and then around. This straight piece of track here just looks weird, but we'll style that out at some point. And then, yeah, having it connect up and stuff all the way over here as well. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. I think then we're going to wrap this episode up here because there's not really much else I can do. And we've been going for 50 odd minutes and I'm trying to keep these to 45, believe it or not. So, thank you very much for watching. Next time out, we are going to connect up Gateshead and we're going to connect up Blackburn. I think we can do both in a single episode and all the tracks and everything. That's the plan. So we'll build each station first, which are going to be very simple to do. And then we'll connect the tracks up. And then hopefully the episode after that, we'll start getting trains running. If not, next episode, because that would be quite exciting. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. And of course, if you're enjoying the series so far, drop those comments down below with ideas for future episodes. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you for your continued support. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And until next time, I will see you soon.